Hello students, in this video we'll find the volume of compound figures. Let's get after it. First, you might be wondering, what is a compound figure? Put simply, it's a 3D figure that's built out of smaller, simpler 3D figures, like this shape, which is made up of two rectangular prisms. We're going to be finding the volumes of compound figures. Remember, volume is the amount of space a figure takes up. How do we find the volume of an entire compound figure? Well, we break the figure into smaller parts, find the volume of each part, and then add the volumes back together. Let's split this figure into simpler figures. We need to find the volume of each prism, and then add the two volumes together. Remember, the volume of a rectangular prism is the prism's length times its width times its height. Let's focus on the first prism. The length is 4, the width is 6, and the height is 8. So let's multiply. 4 times 6 times 8 is 192. So the first prism has a volume of 192 cubic inches. Now, let's look at the second prism. The length is 12, the width is 6, and the height is 2. 12 times 6 times 2 is 144. So the volume of the second prism is 144 cubic inches. Since we have both volumes, we can add them together to get the total. We'll add 192 and 144 to get 336. So the volume of this compound figure is 336 cubic inches. Great start. Let's try another one. What is the volume of this figure? This figure can be separated into two prisms, so we have two volumes to find. Let's split the figure up into its prisms so we can get a better look. We'll need to spot the length, width, and height for each prism. Let's look at the first prism. The length is 20, the width is 3, and the height is 8. Let's multiply 20, 3, and 8 to find the volume of the first prism. We get 480 cubic centimeters. Now, let's look at the second prism. The length is 12, the width is 3, and the height is 8. Let's multiply 12, 3, and 8 to find the volume of the second prism. We get 288 cubic centimeters. Since we have both volumes, we can add them together to get the total. 480 plus 288 equals 768. So the volume of this compound figure is 768 cubic centimeters. Awesome. Let's try one more. What is the volume of this figure? Wow, this figure looks interesting. How can we break it down into different prisms? It looks like we're going to have to break it into 3 parts. And there are a couple different ways to do that. Here we can see one option, and here's another option. Let's find the volume using this version. So, we have 3 volumes to find. We'll need to spot the length, width, and height for each prism. Let's look at the first prism. The length is 15, the width is 4, and the height is, what is the height of this prism? The height isn't labeled, so we'll have to find it another way. One part of the object's height is 6 yards, and the entire height is 9 yards. So the height of the top prism is what's left over. The difference between 9 and 6 is 3, so the height of this top prism is 3 yards. Now we can multiply to find the volume. 15 times 4 times 3 is 180, so the volume is 180 cubic yards. Let's look at the second prism. The length is 3. The width here isn't labeled, but we can see the prism has the same width as our first prism, so the width is 4, and the height is 6. 3 times 4 times 6 is 72. So this volume is 72 cubic yards. And let's look at the last prism. The length is 3, the width is 4, and the height is 6. 3 times 4 times 6 is 72. So this volume is also 72 cubic yards. Since we have all 3 volumes, we can add them together to get the total. 180 plus 72 plus 72 equals 324. So the volume of this compound figure is 324 cubic yards. Awesome job. Now it's time to go practice on your own. Good luck.